Morning, everybody. How are we doing? Hopefully the mic's working this morning. It wasn't working yesterday, was it? I can see the bars moving, so hopefully you can hear me. Morning, Bruno. Morning, Tammy. Right. Just before the markets open, or before Frankfurt opens, we'll have a quick look at the news, what we've got coming up today. It's FOMC day today. So expect some decent movement later on this evening at 7 o'clock. Let me just find my pen. Where's my pen gone? Where is it? Oh, God, this thing. Exit. Sorry, pen's not working again this morning. There it is. So yeah, FOMC. So FOMC basically either we get virtually nothing happening off of it, depending on what is said, or we get huge movement. It's mainly to do with obviously the press conference, etc. So 7 o'clock this evening, major movement, US dollar. So quite often what we see in FOMC is a reversal of what we've had, and at the moment the US dollar is pushing hard towards the 100 level. So we may well see a push back down later, but we'll see where we get to today. We could well just want to push up. If we pull back today, we could want to push up to the 100 level. So could be some decent movement off the back of that, but obviously it is literally hit and miss. Every time it comes out, it's we either get loads of movement or we get no movement. Morning, Seaboat, James. So yeah, apart from that, no news today. We got IV PMI for the CAD, but apart from that, nothing else. So if you've got any CAD pairs running, may get a little bit of movement off of those this afternoon. But apart from that, we are clear for today, news-wise. Yesterday, I took a little Euro US dollar short this morning. This thing's coming down so bad. It's just shocking. So I'm going short basically down to the lows. I can't see it going anywhere else. I'm looking for an ADR today. If it pulls back, it's fine. I'll add a new position in if we get back up to this level. And I'll average into there for that drop. But I can't see anything. Now we've had this move. This is an absolute shocker for Euro US dollar. So looking for a move down to there. Yesterday, indices wise, I wasn't here yesterday afternoon, but I've got a position. I've taken a position on the DAX long. May or may not be the right thing to do, and I'm probably going to try and get out of it today. But I've taken a position long with smaller lot sizing. Because at the moment what's happening at the opens a lot of the time is I'm getting whipsawed out. I've got the direction right, whichever direction I think it's going, but I'm getting whipsawed so much at the open with all this volatility that we're getting coming in the first sort of 25, 30 minutes. So I decided to start position trading with smaller sizing. And obviously there's we always get very decent daily movement on the DAX and all the indices. So I'm looking to sort of slightly adjust the strategy. Scalping is just hard mentally. So I'm slightly adjusting the way I'm trading on it at the moment. So I've got a couple of longs on from yesterday at the minute. I'm going to need to get some more longs on to get back up there if it's going up there. If not, I'll just cut them. Morning, Andy. Back from Paris a day later than expected after fog stopped us landing back in Jersey. Also managed to lose your phone. That's not good. It's like having your arm cut off, isn't it? Losing your phone. So we are back inside this range from previous. And this is where we're sitting at the minute. So we probably have got some downside momentum, but I think we're probably going to hold this range for a little bit at the moment. The US indices are off. We had a inside bar down day yesterday. So we are potentially looking like we may be looking for a drop here. But this is so strong at the moment. All the indices are just really, really doing well, a lot better than expected. We're expecting the next leg to start down, and typically in a bear markets move really fast. Bull markets are hard and bear markets are fast. This is a if this is a bear market we're in, it's very, very, very slow. It's not like we would normally expect. So I think we're more likely at the moment range bound or slight range bound channel up before a new leg down if we are still in a bear market. But as I say, it's very difficult to tell what we're in at the moment. It's similar to this, but as you can see, the drops tend to be fast and violent, and then we recover. Yeah, we've had a couple of drops, and now it looks like it's already starting to recover, but it's too soon from what the forecasts were expecting to happen. So I think we may chop around a bit for a couple of months because the market's a little bit shocked by what's going on in Ukraine, and obviously the economic stance at the moment with all the interest rate rises and everything. It's not looking good, but it's not looking hideously bad either. So suspecting we might have quite a bit of sideways movement. So anyway, deciding to do a little bit more position trading on the opens basically. So and the Dow yesterday we had bearish engulfing. So it was all bullish yesterday, but not sure we're going to have a massive drop, but we'll see. FX wise, market's opening in 2 minutes. FX wise, nothing's hit ADR today. I'm also taking some some positions in FX pairs. I posted them in the Telegram group yesterday, the ones I took yesterday morning. So Aussie dollar, US dollar I took yesterday. So I took that short yesterday on Aussie US and added to the position. I got out there, came down a little bit more. And I've got an Aussie Swiss on at the moment short, which is just going back above break even. Might get stopped out on that one. But I'm looking for this basically fade on this move on the Aussie. But at the moment, doesn't seem to be doing that. And obviously the Aussie is very, very, very strong at the moment, Aussie and the New Zealand. But that was a big spike. And it wasn't really a spike we would expect because the interest rates remained as they are. They were forecast. They was all factored in, all priced in. So it looked more like manipulation to me, which typically will get faded. So that's hence why that trades on. But if it stops out, it stops out. So I'm going to look to trade a bit more FX as well and start to get some positions moving in some FX pairs, but with fairly slow risk, fairly low risk, I think, at the minute. And using fairly wide stops. So looking to sort of get into positions with stops, but taking multiple positions in them, if that makes sense. Kind of a hybrid, really, position trading and stop losses. Okay, so market's open. Euro US dollar is extended to the downside. So just looking at the Dixie. So with the Dixie, we're targeting the 100 level. So we've just broken out of here. So possibly pull back somewhere around here and then push up, but what I would like to see them do with the US dollar today is get up to there ready for FOMC, and there's going to be a lot of buying and selling pressure up here. There's going to be a lot pushing for the breakout. There's going to be a lot of limit orders sitting around 100 ready to bounce. It's one of those numbers we tend to get a big bounce off. So I'll be watching that area like a hawk and looking to long Euro US dollar. Or pound US dollar. Pound's stuffed as well. New economic forecast for the pound. Looking really bad. 50% economic growth, 50% of normal economic growth over the next 2 to 3 years due to inflation and everything that's going on. So the pound is not looking good either. So it's difficult to know what to long against the US dollar if we get to the 100 level. But nothing's really got a good outlook at the moment, is it? Where are we today? Let's look at the DAX. So the reason I'm long at the moment is that bounce. So looking for a play back up, looking for basically for us to remain range bound at the minute. So just looking for the push up today. But if we break those lows, I'll probably consider getting out of this. Not a massive amount of movement at the open. Wow, look at this compared to yesterday. A little bit different, isn't it? Got a fairly wide opening range, but not as dramatic. We've got a fair bit to look at on the 4-hour extensions as well. We'll have a look at all those in a minute. There's a few hourlies, mainly Euro US dollar. US dollar's coming down fairly hard at the open. Yeah, big moves. At the open on the US dollar. Still just a pullback potentially though. Morning, Diamond. Didn't see you there. Going to watch the Dow at the open. Turn my volume off with its pinging. I'm not going to watch the crickets this morning. No point. There was no gap today on the DAX to fill. Well, there was, but I mean it was literally there to there, and then they did it in 5 minutes. So, okay, pushing down at the open. Okay, so it's a fairly big opening range on the DAX this morning. Let's see where we go from here. So I'm looking to take opening range breakouts as well. Lovely opening range. The opening range breakouts that we've had over the last few days have been really, really good. So I'm going to see if we can take one this morning. But I'm going to keep a close eye on it because we are basically selling straight into support. So we could, well, just get a reversal back up today. Morning, Stevie. So I'm hedged now, got a short on as well. This is a scalp short, this is more of a swing long. Oil's coming down pretty hard and fast this morning as well. I'll just quickly look at what's happening with that Aussie dollar Swiss. Pushing hard again. So just coming up to yesterday's high. So see if we get a reaction at yesterday's high on that one. Roland, do you have a tutorial for setting up ADR? There is no setup for ADR. ADR is ADR. There isn't really a setting. I'm just toying with the idea of closing out this DAX. So yeah, all ADR. Where are you? There you are. The only setting you've got in ADR is the ADR number. So I mean, I use ADR 10, as a lot of people do. That's really it. It's the average daily range of the last 10 days. That's literally all the indicators showing you and the extensions of it. And the only decision you've got to make is, do I want alerts and what levels do I want them at? Apart from that, there is no settings in that one. Literally just draws the average daily range extensions for you. That's it. Okay, stopped out on that short. That was the opening range breakout to the lows. Okay, adding another position in on the break of those highs. So we've made a new high there, just. We've also made a new low. This is what I mean by this whipsawing action at the open. We are getting such a lot of very, 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 very long candles rather than sort of movement at the open. We're getting whipsawed at the open at the minute. And then it's making its move a little bit later. So it's kind of the volatility's picked up dramatically, but the no directional bias at these opens. It's almost as if they're dumping, just dumping orders in both directions at the open. And then there's not really a lot of stock buying going on at the open. It's just grinding gradually. So better off scaling into positions with a bias, basically, I think, at the minute. Don't get me wrong, been doing well out of the scalping. But the last few days, there's been so much whipsawing. Funny enough, since I got the funded account, got whipsawed to death. It's almost as if the market hates you. Excuse me. Okay, taking a long on the DAX. I've got 3 positions long now. One from yesterday. Up there. US dollar is finding a little bit of resistance. Going to add into another long. Looking for this double top here. I was just going to move that. Never mind. Looking for that double top. Looking for a pop out the top. There's going to be a load of liquidity sitting there. They should eat that liquidity up and fly through that, hopefully. And see if we find resistance there. If we get this pop out the top. There goes. All the orders being eaten up. It's almost as if the market is trying to take your money. I know, it's funny that, isn't it? It's almost as if there's a massive conspiracy where the banks and institutions prey on retail traders and take all their cash. Okay, we've rejected those highs. Well, we are rejecting those highs. We haven't rejected them yet. Still got 2 minutes left on this candle. Anything can happen. NAS hasn't managed to make new highs this morning yet. So NAS is struggling up here. S&P also. Dow obviously has. Just to confuse the situation. Divergence across the US indices again. Big rejection there. That's not looking good. What time frame are you on at the moment? It says in the top right hand corner, Steve-O. M5. And it says there, M5. So basically what we're seeing playing out here on the DAX is the battle for 1400, 14400 rather. So we've got the 14400 level here. Yeah. And as you can see yesterday, we just entered into an area of balance at 14400. Market was quite happy to trade at that level. So we need to break this accumulation today to reject 14400. If we can get a break above this level and hold up here, I suspect 14400 is going to hold and we're going to get a push up. So again today, looking for them just to take it back up into New Zealand dollar Swiss. We just hit ADR already. Blimey. Just looking for them to take it from 14400, which is not there, just somewhere around there. Just hold it, basically. Hold it somewhere in this area. Hence the slight long bias. We've rejected these lows here. Yeah, for 4 days. Solid. We're not interested in going below this level. So I'm looking for them to push it a little bit today. So we got a bullish close there, but a lot of sellers stepped in up here. This is where we've had the sellers step in, obviously, prior. This last leg down that made the low down there, obviously every time we've stepped into this, sellers have stepped in and added to their positions. And again, this morning before the open, so this is kind of last chance for the sellers. Everybody that's building positions in here moved here. If we can crack that, we should just pop today. Let's have a quick look at the New Zealand dollar Swiss. Big strong push. Strong push up New Zealand dollar this morning. And the Aussie dollar. Beautiful tweezer tops just forming on the Aussie dollar Swiss. Still got 2 minutes left on this candle, but bearish engulfing tweezer tops. So New Zealand dollar, obviously, we are just sitting range bound at the moment. So we're approaching the highs of the range. So potentially a nice little short there. Drop down to M5. You're not going to get a reversal out on this on M5. Too strong a push. So you have to take price action entry on this one. Wait for a bearish engulfing. Wait for an M pattern to form up there. Potentially. Could get a reversal alert. If we get a new high, if we get a slight pullback and a new high, obviously the support rectangle is going to jump. So we could get a reversal up there, but at the moment, you could take price action up at 100 ADR there when we start getting something coming in. Complete indecision on the DAX. Again, rejected those highs with a lower high. Still got 30 seconds left on the candle, but unsure at the moment. So that's the level we're fighting over. Big 14,400. So Doji. So looking for this high here, which we've just rejected to hold. So we've just tested the highs prior to the market open with that wick. So we see if we can hold this level. Buyers certainly holding that level at the minute, but obviously we are in a sell zone here, so could well reject back down to 14,400. I want to see that level hold though. If that doesn't hold, I think I'll be out of this. Okay, New Zealand dollar Swiss, nice rejection there at 100 ADR. Suits me fine because I'm not far away from stopping out on that one. So US dollar is still coming down this morning. Not against the Swissy though. Weak Swiss franc this morning. We'll have a look at all the yens in a minute as well, see what they're up to. So Dow nicely holding the moving averages at the moment, putting in good market structure. Very nice and organised this morning. New high. This is the low. So looking for a push above that high. God, it's like I haven't a herd of elephants in the house. Kids. what age is it, do you reckon, that you decide, I don't want to walk upstairs anymore, I want to stomp upstairs as loud as possible and make the entire house shake? There we go again. How can something so light make such a massive noise? So DAX market structure, obviously, as well, is nicely bullish. So that's kind of point of no return for me, this level today, for the morning anyway. One minute left. So looks like we're trying to reject this level. Here comes the round number. Trying to anyway. Okay, we've got a very weak Swiss franc this morning. We'll have a look at all these in a sec. Just see if this level holds. And we should be good to go, hopefully. There we go. So looking for close above this candle, see if we can get bullish engulfing on the close of this candle. It says the pullback on the next leg, potentially done. Lots of room to the upside now. If we can get this level broken, so we've really got to crack this level. So this is our fourth attempt, basically, getting through. So 5 minute levels. Oops. there. So this is our next sort of stumbling block potentially. Assuming we're going to go up, obviously. We're not there yet. Right, let's have a look at the FX pairs while we're waiting for that to decide if it wants to go up today or just sit there and go sideways and chop everyone to death. So, ADRs, obviously we looked at New Zealand dollar Swiss. That's just pushing up to yesterday's high now. Presumably got stopped out of Aussie Swiss. Yeah, I'm out of Aussie Swiss. So pushing up to yesterday's high. We've got obviously now a more realistic reversal on the M5 because we've pulled back. We've taken a pause. So there's your next accumulation level. So looking for a break of that. Assuming we're going down, New Zealand dollar is massively strong, and we've obviously got a weak Swiss franc this morning. Unfortunately, typically. It's always the one I seem to pick at the minute. Aussie dollar Swiss was the one I picked to go short on yesterday, and obviously that was the one that woke up to the weak Swiss franc. Coming up to the highs again, rejected on Aussie US as well. It's looking pretty good for a short if we get that bounce off of the highs again. So New Zealand dollar Swiss is all we've got on ADRs. Nothing else getting close to ADR at the moment, really. The weeklies, so all the Aussies have hit their weeklies already. So Aussie dollar CAD, this is all to do with this move yesterday, screaming off to the highs off the back of the rate announcement. So basically this was the 0.1 rate announcement for the Australian dollar. So they kept everything as expected. It was forecast to be as expected. The market would have factored in the result of it being as expected, and yet they decided to scream to the upside. So that's the reason for playing these fades. Typically when you get this type of reaction off of news that isn't news, you tend to get the fade back down. Quite often it happens same day off the back of news. Depends on how strong the move is. But usually within a couple of days, we're back down to where we started. So that was the reason for that Aussie dollar Swiss short, and the other one that I took yesterday, which played out very nicely, Aussie US. But I still think that's on the cards today. So weekly range has been hit by that spike across all of the Aussies. Aussie dollar Swiss is now 125 of its normal weekly range. Bear in mind we're on Wednesday, so we're halfway through the week. Anybody that plays midweek reversals, when you've got your weekly ranges hit by the middle of the week, that's quite often where we will start to see that happening. Bear in mind we've got FOMC later, which will affect all pairs as well. So yeah, Aussie dollar Swiss flying off to the highs. So good short opportunities again on the Aussie dollar Swiss today, I think. Aussie dollar yen, very high. Coming up to, change that to wide, didn't I? Highlight that level. It's not that down again. So we got highs up here, which potentially we're going to find a double top at. Again, we've extended our normal weekly range in 2 days. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, and Aussie dollar, US dollar. So they're all the same. There's the fade I played yesterday on the Aussie US. Whoops, from there to there, and then I escaped as we started to pull back up. Basically, that was just to pay for another trade. So yeah, good move down. Didn't quite get to my TP, which was here, annoyingly, which is just above those highs. So still potentially there's movement down here today. We're double topping at the moment on Asian highs, so we could see the US dollar start to power up now and take that back down. But again, massively extended. Euro odd, again, same thing. It's the Australian dollars. That's hit because of that, although I wouldn't be looking to really long the euro. And Euro New Zealand. New Zealand dollar moved off the back of that Aussie dollar news as well. So a few weeklies there as well. Nothing's hit the monthly ranges yet. It's early on in the month. If things hit the monthly range within the first week, it's a sure sign you've got a potential reversal coming. DAX is just collapsing. It's broken 14,400. We've got a lot of activity coming in around this 14,400 level. It's definitely gone down through it. Yeah, that's not holding very well at all. So this is a very deep pullback here. We're retesting the 72 level. So deep pullback, still potentially long, but the moving averages are starting to flatten out. It looks to me like we're just in a continuation range of this 14,400 level. Not looking to go higher today at the moment. Blimey. Again, another whipsaw. So I've got this this swing position on. That was the opening range breakout, which is now invalidated. So I'm going to leave that alone for a while. I'm still playing it long, but I'm swinging it. I'm not scalping it anymore. It's, oh, hang on. Oh, God. Auto trading's turned on. One sec. So that's the opening range breakout short that I've just taken there, and that's a bearish engulfing short that I've just taken. Let me just monitor these. Morning, Rahat. So we're challenging these lows again now. These lows have been holding incredibly well. We are just retesting them again. That's the reason for my long, is because the support is holding so well at the moment. So I've just shorted basically into support down there. One of the perils of auto trading, it can't see me looking at support. Closing those out. Am I closing those out? I'll close out manually. I've turned auto trading off. I can't close them out. I'm just rejecting those. I still think this is a long. I've got these swings on long. So we're back down at this support again. This is just all whipsaw. This is what we're experiencing at the opens at the minute. It's just utter chaos and no direction. So very, very difficult to scalp this thing at the minute. Well, I'm going to leave that long playing out. Let's do the FX analysis. So, where were we? Nothing on the ADRs, nothing on the monthlies. 4 hours. So, similar sort of thing to what we've seen on the ADRs recently. So, Aussie dollar Swiss, nicely extended. We got that. Obviously, these moves that we've had above RSI, which is why I haven't been position trading. Based off the fact that the Aussie dollar and the New Zealand dollar are incredibly strong at the moment. All the money seems to be flowing into the Aussies or into the Australasian pairs at present. So every extension we've had a pullback, but the pullbacks have been very, 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 very shallow. Didn't really get one there at all. That was more of an accumulation. And then we got a nice decent pullback off of that one. So we're back up nicely extended again. We're making another new high. So potentially we're forming an M pattern reversal up there. But we have broken through this level now very nicely here. We rejected it and we've slammed basically back through it. So this to me doesn't look like potentially a false breakout. This looks like a breakout. But we are such a long way away from these moving averages. We are likely to get a pullback. If we can get anywhere near ADR today, sort of anywhere up to the 100 to 150 level on ADR today, that'll be a nice short because we're likely to get a pullback into support. So it'll be a scalp play, obviously, on the lower time frame on M5. So if this gets up to these levels, because you're going to need some distance basically to be able to get some profit out of it. So if this one gets up to those levels on M5, look for reversal alerts, and then obviously scalp it back down to the previous highs. So bit of a distance to go yet today, I think, on that one. But obviously, the fact we got such a massive week's Swiss franc at the minute. So just looking at the news, 8:36. Okay. So that moved down again. News. Von der Leyen just said the new sanctions against Russia will not be the last. So they've just released new sanctions. Obviously negative news for the Eurozone again. So this is the problem at the minute. We keep getting these news spikes. The market is so jittery that it doesn't matter what anybody says. Somebody says something, the market just goes ugh and panics. So again, looking like we're doing a nice move and then someone opens their mouth and the whole thing gets undone. It literally is a lottery if you're in the market the right way. I was on the right side of this with Putin last week, made over 10% on one trade. If you're on the wrong side of it, you're going to get stopped out. You just got to wait for them. But we are down at this support, so this is a good area to buy at the minute. I'm going to try another quick addition down here. So this is basically a swing long. We'll see if we can get a hold down there. Right, back to analysis. Aussie dollar Swiss. So yeah, looking for a bit of a more of a push on that one this morning. Aussie dollar yen. Again, these aren't quite extended enough. I like to see them sort of 75.25 plus at the moment, just because we are so volatile. I want to get in right at the extremes when we've had a really good push, and you've got much more chance of getting that movement. Aussie dollar yen, we are still pushing. Yen is still massively weak. All these yen pairs, we'll have a look at all these yen pairs in a second, but all coming up to fairly decent levels of double top, because obviously we had the big push and then we corrected last week. Correction was only small. So looking for a drop on that one, but again, a little bit more room to the upside and see what sort of reaction we get at those highs. Potentially putting in a sort of stop hunt high and then a drop from there. These are absolutely exhausted, and there is signs of yen strength. We should be getting some yen strength coming through. So at a double top or reversal, that's when we would expect to see something like that start to kick in. So good spot at the moment, Aussie dollar yen. Looking at all the other yens quickly, because there's not really any other yens lit up apart from the US dollar yen and the CAD yen. All the other yens, as you can see, we had the yen strength come through yesterday, last week rather, dropped into the accumulation, pushed up. So again, if we get up to ADR on the CAD yen today, Swiss yen, again, that one's turning over obviously because the Swiss franc's weak at the moment this morning. Euro yen, just pulling back. Pound yen, we're nowhere near at the moment. New Zealand yen, we're getting closer. And US dollar yen, we're starting to push up towards it as well. So this level, this high obviously from that big spike that we had the week before, we undid everything last week. We got a reversal alert on some of them we didn't. At the moment we're pulling back and we're just retesting this area to see if we've got more yen strength coming through. So all these yens are looking really good, but like with the Aussies, there's every chance they will continue up in that direction as well. So the closer you get to the highs, obviously the tighter you can get a stop. And we are extended across many of these at the moment. So they are all due a decent pullback. The difficulty at the moment is understanding how much of this is fundamental shifts of money and how much of this is speculative, which is going to have profit take moves on. And that's the bit that at the moment is eluding everybody. So if we can get that move down from there, I suspect we're back more into a speculative market. And we should see hopefully some normality start to return into price action on the FX pairs. DAX has just broken new lows, so we've got a breakout to the downside. Market not happy this morning about something. S&P new lows, Nasdaq new lows, DAX, Dow, everything new lows. Aussie dollar yen. So yeah, so that's all the yen pairs really covered there. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar. This one's sideways. Oops, let's get rid of that. Off there. This one was sideways for ages. And now we've had this strength coming through. The Aussie dollar is certainly a lot stronger than the New Zealand at the minute. So as long as the strength continues on these Aussie New Zealand pairs, we're looking just for pullbacks and longs. We're extended. We've got lovely wicks to the upside on this at the moment. So lots of good rejection up at this level. Sellers starting to kick in. Profit takes starting to happen. So it's starting to look like it's rolling over. Nicely extended. But as I said, with these Aussies, we've got embedded and stuck on the Aussies when they have these big strong pushes going through. So it's a little bit risky shorting these Aussies at the moment, but I think when they do start to move, you're going to get a decent drop on them, but that's going to be reliant on some yen strength coming through. And as we saw, when the yen strength comes through, the Aussie dollars weaken and the New Zealand dollar weakens. So this is kind of hinging off the back of some yen strength, which at the moment we haven't got. So when that kicks in, we're going to get that move back down again. So again, just waiting to see what happens with those other pairs. Lower time frames, sideways at the minute. So good level of support building here. We've got that fill still to do. So when we get the reverse alert, we've at least got to move down to there. But potentially on higher time frame, obviously, there's a much bigger move to the downside. So big, strong push, looking for rejection up there, break of that level, and then nice pullback somewhere to the 24 to continue on our way. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, CAD yen, covered that, Swiss yen. So all these yens shorts at some point soon. When? Who knows? Euro odd. All the euros nicely extended, not longing anything on the euro still. With what's going on with the war, with what's going on in the Eurozone, with the currency, with everything, it's not looking good. They're trying to end their purchasing plans, increase their interest rates by the end of this year. It's not going to bode well. It's all going to hurt as they start to unravel all of this. So nothing looking positive for the euro. The question is, where does the euro stop? This thing is coming down hard, and it's very difficult to pick a bottom on this at the moment. Every bottom it seems to get anywhere near it just goes nah and collapses through it. So we've got obviously these lows going back to 2017. That would be kind of the area I think we're probably heading to from a euro odd perspective. With all the other euros, these are all extended on the 4 hourlies, so it's all the same story. Euro CAD, obviously, we've broken that level already. So, you've got to go even further back to try and find somewhere that we might be heading for, which is, all the way back down to, where's that? 2012. Yeah, 10 years ago, potentially. Oh, sorry, there's one there, 2015. So 2015 levels. There's nothing but clear blue sky. There's no real levels here apart from that one there, which we've crashed through to aim for. So yeah, Euro CAD, more drop. Strong CAD on the back of oil pricing. Weak Euro on the back of everything that's going on in Europe. Yeah, doom gloom, drop. Euro Swiss, same thing. Euro Swiss has been in decline, had a little rally, massive decline again. On the 4 hour, we are very extended, but every little pullback we get is usually weak. We had a nice pullback there. But it's doom and gloom everywhere for the euro. So any kind of pullbacks into resistance levels, previous support, which will turn resistance, you got potential short opportunities. If not, anywhere in the 24.72 area, if we get back up to there. But short, obviously this morning we've got a nice weak Swiss franc, which is giving the euro a bit of a pop, which is going to get us up to positions where we can start to short this. Euro pound, the euro pound at the moment is a very difficult one. I'm kind of steering clear. The ADR in it isn't great, and it's never been great because the euro and the pound are such close trade partners. You don't tend to get a massive amount of movement on a daily basis. The fact that now we've got both of these currencies incredibly weak makes it very difficult to tell which way this is going from a day-to-day basis. Obviously, the overall trend is down because of what's going on with the European zone at the moment. And the pound has obviously typically been fairly strong, but at the moment the pound is incredibly weak as well, and the forecasts for the pound are not good for the next couple of years. So you've got two weak currencies which are likely to stay weak, trading against each other here. So any kind of range bound opportunity at lows and highs is probably where you want to be concentrating, because it's probably going to get not far beyond them, as you saw here, there, before it starts to unravel itself. So if we can get extensions on RSI on this, it's kind of tradable in both directions at the moment. So we had an extension which started here. Obviously that just pushed out and collapsed. We had an extension down there, which pushed up, extension there, we had an extension there. Again, you know, some of these pullbacks are tiny at the minute, but they are all unraveling eventually. So at the moment we are extended down there. I would rather look for shorts, but it's playing out in both directions at the moment. So nice opportunity for long there. Really good projection down here at the minute. See, obviously these wicks we had where before we started that move, yeah, we got buyers stepping in at the minute. So there's longs being put into the market. Play it back up. So yeah, nicely extended on the euro pound. Euro New Zealand, doom and gloom. With the strength of the Aussie and the strength of New Zealand at the moment, we have got potential W forming, but I'd much rather wait for short opportunities. So I don't really like that. Down there, it will get of a pullback at some point, but again, it's going to be news based. Most of what's happening with the euro and obviously with the indices at the moment is news based, and you can't time the news obviously, because you don't know when news is coming out about Ukraine. So it's a case of being in a position and waiting for that move to come. If you get negative news after negative news after negative news, all you're going to get is that. So it's just dangerous to be longing it, I think, because we are getting way more negative news than we are positive news coming out of the Russia-Ukraine situation. So I'd be waiting for longs, sort of push to the upside, and shorts. So looking at support and resistance. Yeah, anywhere up here, if we can get back up there, I'll be looking to short it. But, you know, there's quite possibly it's just going to collapse, isn't it? So that's all the euros covered, and euro US dollar. So US dollar at the moment, I've just taken a short on this one. This is a position I'm building. So looking for these lows basically. We may well push back up today. FOMC might give the US dollar a bit of a weaken, but as soon as we get some more strength on the US dollar, this is going to come down. We're not, this level here was a really nice support resistance. The reason I've got in short, even though we're extended down here, is because we slammed through that. we just went not interested anymore. And we also are now sitting back down at support. So I'm looking for a kind of rebound and a drop on this. If it pushes back up, I'll scale in and get ready for the next leg down. But the euro and the US dollar, even if the US dollar is weak, it's never going to be as weak as the euro. And the drops we've had on this thing, they're fast and they're hard, and they tend to last longer than you expect them to. Yeah, we get embedded on the 4 hour, and it's always doing a couple of legs down. You can see we've got most of the RSI extensions we get on the euro at the moment have got little W's on them historically, where it's just tiny pullbacks, next legs down, and then we get this pullback into the 24.72 zone. We've done the 24.72, so I'd be looking for a bounce maybe up to there and next leg down below there. So shorts, euro US dollar. But whenever you time your entry, if you're going to get in with stop losses, obviously you're going to want to time your entries, trying to time your entries. Obviously it's very difficult to time an entry because you never know when the market's going to move, but support resistance levels, and look for reverse alerts at things like ADRs, etc. But at the moment we are really struggling to get anywhere near ADR with the euros. So if you pull up to sort of 75% of ADR, it's probably a good time to short it. And I'll probably do the same thing. So yeah, euro US dollar, the most extended of the lot at the minute, but I think we are going to get a pullback on it, but I'm looking for an embedded on this. One of the reasons I'm short down here is I'm looking for FOMC to try and take it down to these lows. See if we can get a good strong push on the US dollar off of FOMC. It doesn't need to be a sustained move, but if we can get a spike down to challenge these lows, I'll just get out of it down there, and then obviously wait for the fade, pull back, and then short it again. Pound odd, in trouble. So all the pounds, I'll whiz through the pound odd's the only one we've got extended, obviously off the back of the Australian dollar strength. But look at all these pounds. Pounds, obviously we've got a very weak Swiss franc at the moment, so we've had to move up there, and the yen obviously is weaker as well. But everything else, pound really, really, really struggling. It looks the same across the board as the euro. We're really not in a good spot for strength on the pound at the moment. So short opportunities on all pound pairs as well. So looking for RSI extensions to the upside if you can get them, and shorts, and obviously on all time frames. So dropping down to the hourlies, take hourly extensions to the upside on it, and just get in and get out wherever you can. But it's not getting there. Yeah, the pound is not getting there. It's got no strength at the minute. So when you're trend trading using RSI, you tend to, on pullbacks, you'll tend to looking sort of around about the 60 area for your pullbacks, and then entering shorts from there. A lot of people play it when it crosses below the 50. By the time it crosses below the 50, obviously you've missed the move, which is, got the reversal alert. By the time you've got the reversal alert, it's down. So taking reversal alerts basically when we're up around the 60 level on lower time frames is the best thing to do. So dropping down to M15, yeah, just taking them as you see them happening. But it's not particularly quick. The pound demise, it is coming down, but as you can see, it's taking a long time to get anywhere. So these are trades that play out over many days at the moment. Sometimes it's just not moving dramatically quick. But yeah, all the pounds, as I say, I have to go short on all of those at the minute until there's something fundamental that sort of changes. The only other thing we got extended is US dollar yen, which we've already looked at. So we've got New Zealand dollar yen as well. Is getting close again to an extension. By the time it gets extended, if it gets extended, we'll be back up at these double tops. I've got a feeling this is going to hold on these yens. I don't necessarily think we're going to get this elevator shaft, because if we were due it, we didn't get it there. But I think we'll probably go into either a trading range on the yen pairs, and they'll hold up there, or we'll go into a sort of a slight channel down. And obviously when we get back down into this zone, that's when we're going to see whether or not the yen has got any strength or not. But I suspect maybe not at the minute. Hourlies, we've got Euro US dollar, which is very extended. Again, pullback up to there potentially, and then leg down, or just to move down an FOMC, take us down to test this double bottom. We may or may not get that bounce. We probably will get a bounce. It's highly likely. There'll be a lot of money sitting down here. There's also a lot of money sitting under there. So we will get some kind of reaction down at these lows for a scalp trade. But overall, short. US dollar Swiss and US dollar yen have just about got extended on the hourly. US dollar Swiss, is that hit ADR? No. Just missed it. Literally missed it by 3 pipettes off of ADR. So yeah, those are extended just about US dollar Swiss and US dollar yen. US dollar yen's been embedded. So lots of things potentially to look at there. But as I say, I'm starting to focus a little bit more on the FX pairs now. I think with the war in Ukraine and the inflationary picture that we've got now, I think the directional bias on things is clearly established. I've been out of position trading for about 6 weeks now, 4-6 weeks, something like that. So it's starting to give an idea of where everything should be going long term. I think at the moment, really, the best thing to do is to try to stay in line with the daily trend on the 2472 and pick trades in direction with those trends when we're getting pullbacks. So again, the hourly is probably going to come into play a little bit more than the 4 hour, because to get a 4 hour pullback takes an awful lot of strength in a trend. So the hourlies are probably the best to be sort of looking at, I think, at the moment. You're going to get more opportunities to sort of jump in for fairly decent risk reward trades, but getting in with small position sizing at the moment until everything's confirmed, because we got so much news spikes going on at the minute as well. There's a lack of liquidity in the market, and things are slipping further than expected, as we saw with the Aussie dollar. But equally, with large slippage like that comes opportunities for playing the fades on them. So, but yeah, still very, very tricky everywhere. But mean reversion is starting to look a little bit more interesting now. But I think in line with longer term trend for the moment. So, anybody got any other pairs they want to have a look at? Wow, that really fell out of bed, didn't it, the DAX? Straight down to that level. So this zone here is where I'm looking for support. So if you look at this on a slightly higher time frame. Ooh, that's a big one. So looking for pullback off of this support level, which is here. And then next leg there, next leg there. That level will be a break of the low of that candle. That was that weekly control candle. So I'll probably add in as we go up on this as well, if I get an opportunity. Hopefully I just scream straight through the other side. Okay, so that's all I've got for you this morning. So I'm going to monitor some FX pairs. I'm looking really on the FX side of things. I want really strong confluence of levels at the minute. So I'm looking for FX pairs to hit decent support resistance areas, a bit like these yens. So I'm looking sort of hourly and 4 hourly resistance levels and support. Signs of strength or weakness off of those levels. So reversal alerts at support resistance, which are clear double tops, clear double bottoms, or on the way up, looking for support resistance levels and reversal alerts in line with the trend. So they've either got to be this sort of like strong push and rejection type levels, where we're likely to have a lot of people jumping in on double tops. Those are going to be good opportunities. And again, using stops. Or I need a clear level to aim for a position trade. But for the position trading side of things at the minute, I'm more inclined to limit the number of positions I'm getting into. So kind of taking a stance of, right, I'm going to go short here. I'll give it maybe another one up here. If we get up to there, cancel it. So using half size positions and just trying to average in and average out and sort of squeeze a little bit out rather than trying to, don't want to use stops every single trade, but equally I don't want to get into positions against the trend like that. With positions long, I'm not quite as worried because with the long positions, you've got those moving averages as backup. You know, whenever we see anything trending, you know, if you get the bounce off the 24 and it works beautifully, that's fine. If not, you've got the 72 as backup. If you get past the 72, you know within 3 positions usually you're going to get that move. Yeah, so 24 bounce, 24 bounce, 24 bounce, 24 bounce, 72, 24, 72, 24. If that doesn't work, 72. So in line with the trend, I'm not as worried. But when we're taking double tops and bottoms, if that does that, I'd be inclined to take one more go on a reversal alert, and if it still falls out of bed, exit. I'm out. So 2 or 3 positions against the trend maximum and take the loss. With the trend, I'm not quite as worried. Because I don't see any of these trends that have started to form now. I can't see any reason for them to literally stop at the minute. With what's going on with inflation, the market, there's a new world order with finance forming at the moment. And currencies are strengthening and weakening, and there's no real signs of anything coming that is going to change it at the moment. So I think that's kind of my new sort of outlook and the way I want to trade it. But I'm going to be a little bit more inclined to take losses on any positions that I take. So, but I'm going to start building positions slowly. And any good opportunities that I see that look like, strong support resistance plays, I'll still use some stops. I think did well yesterday. 2 trades yesterday, 1 winner, 1 loser. The winner was way bigger than the loser, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? But also want to limit my pairs as well. I'm not going to get into too much. If I'm in an Aussie CAD, I'm in an Aussie CAD. I'm not getting in any more Aussie, any more CAD. I'm limiting it to single positions. So the 2-pair rule that I usually use, I don't really want, unless I've got something in profit. Yeah, if I've got something like Aussie dollar CAD, I've taken a short, we're down here, break even, then I'll get into some more Aussie CAD. But I'm not going to just pile into more Aussie CAD or more Aussie or CAD if I've got anything in drawdown. If anything's in drawdown, it needs to be managing it and watching it like a hawk at the minute. But yeah, with this news we've got at the moment, you know, stuff's just moving so quick. And as I say, with the scalping, you've got a lot of volatility coming in, which will chop you to bits. But that would have been a lovely short if I'd have held that. Look, who knew? To stick with pullback strategy isn't more safer than mean reversion. Yeah, you're always going to be safer with the trend until the trend ends. You're always going to be safer mean reversioning in a range until the range ends. It's just, it doesn't matter which way you do. So if you say I'm only going to trend trade, i.e. Aussie CAD, I'm only going to take longs, that's brilliant until it does that. Trends, everybody's like always, the trend is your friend, the trend is your friend. The trend is your friend until it's not your friend anymore. A range is your friend until the range isn't a range anymore. You can't time, when a trend is going to stop. Everybody that was shorting this on pullbacks in this trend, shorted that. They got stopped out. Then they shorted again up there, and they got stopped out. And then they went, oh, we go long, and then they got stopped out. And then it pushed a new high. They took a long there. They got a profit there. It pulled back. They took a long. They got stopped out. Yeah. Some point, this is going to go like that, and your trend trades aren't going to work anymore. And then that could well go into a range. So you'll start range trading it. Yeah. It doesn't matter. I know this is what I was talking about on Monday. Yeah. You've got a 50-50 chance of every single trade you take working. It's either going to work or it's not. Yeah. That's what's going to happen. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. It's going to move through time. That's all we know. So yeah, stay in line with the trend. And if the trend continues, you'll make loads of money. When that trend stops and you keep trying to trade into that trend, it's not going to work. So take every trade on its merit, and that's literally all you can do at the minute. Just watching what's going on with the DAX on my other monitor and all the other pairs. We're getting a nice little pullback starting on all of these now. So it looks like there's a good fade starting to happen. S&P is fading. NAS is potentially starting to fade. So we've got some bullish price action coming in on all of these. So this propulsion move out of the accumulation, looking for a retest of that. And then potentially another leg down, maybe. On the US indices, anyway. Still no strength showing on the US dollar, though, really. We've got a little bit coming through. But not a lot. So this isn't caused by anything to do with the US. This is just market reaction, market panic. It's more like a panic, isn't it, these days, than a reaction. Market's like, don't know what to do. Jump ship. I'll get back in again. Horrible situation to be trading in now at the moment. So again, same with this one. At least looking for pullback up to those lows at some point. When it happens, don't know. Looks like it wants to go short again a little bit more today, but we'll see where that gets to. Looking on the daily on the DAX for levels. Obviously, we've got this level down here at the moment, which is there. So this level here, we've traded this level so many times. Rejected here. So this is kind of where I'd expect us to get to today. Failing that, obviously coming down to these levels here. So it's not got far to go today before it's going to want to do a pullback. Unless, of course, Putin says something or Zelensky. And then who knows? Deal with it when it gets there. So I'll be back this afternoon at 2:20, ready for New York session. Anybody need anything else, let me know in the Telegram group. Keep your eyes peeled for support and resistance levels on the FX pairs, and there's a few of those coming up at the moment. And then obviously keep your stops fairly tight if you're trading on the indices, if you're going to obviously try and scalp them, but at the moment with these, just hold them. It seems that when it goes, and then we go into this accumulation phase for ages, don't we? And then we tend to come back the other way in the afternoon. So I should be playing that fade this afternoon. Okay, anything else you need, let me know. I'll be in the Telegram group. Otherwise, have a good morning and hopefully see you at 2. Have a good one.